Hi Libra, welcome to your 2017 astrological forecast. It's Raina here, and I'm very happy to offer this for the first time. This is for Libra Sun as well as Libra Rising Ascendant, also called. And if you're looking for a personalized version of this, where I also talk about your personality or hidden talents, and give you highlights for the coming 12 months, I will provide a link below this video where you can go to my online store, because using your exact time of birth is quite a different situation. So if you, for instance, if you're watching as Libra Sun, your rising sign could be Scorpio, it could be any sign. And so, the predictions would be totally different. But this is like generalized because it's not taking into account the degree of your sun or rising sign. So this is why we emphasize that these are general readings. But in general, I can say that for Libra, I feel like you have a very lucky year coming up because you have Jupiter in your own sign. And that's starting a new 12-year cycle with Jupiter in that first house. And, when it does go into Scorpio on the 11th of October, it's only going to get better because that's going to be in your second house of earned income. So it can be very expansive for income streams, for instance. If you want to expand the ways that you earn money, that's perfect for that. But in general, having Libra in your own sign is just great, because it can make you, just have a really great image. Other people can see you in some sort of, maybe exalted light is a little bit of hyperbole, but Jupiter brings luck and expansion to whatever house it enters. The first house is the house of the self. And so, as such, any type of promotional, self-promotion that you do will tend to expand your world. So if that was something that you were already planning on doing, then this just can help with that. And then when you have Jupiter in the second house, it's like your network or your tentacles are out there, and you can just have more clients or have more of everything. And it also, I think with Libra in the first house, I think it just expands you, or why did I say Libra? Jupiter in the first house, it actually expands even your sense of possibilities of who you are and what you can be. And so for any aspirations that you have, this can be very good. Now, I do want to talk about a couple of things that are happening related to these long-term energies, because I made a point of starting my 2017 readings with all of the cardinal signs, and I've already done, what signs have I done? I've done Aries, and I've done, I believe it's Cancer. And so now I'm up to Libra, which is the opposite sign of Aries. And there are some outer planets that really are impacting all of us, but particularly you cardinal signs, because they are forming hard angles to either your sun or your rising sign and any other planets that you have that are cardinal signs. So for you, you have Uranus and Aries in the 7th house of committed partners. So that's your opposite house, okay? And that's the house that Libra naturally rules. And then you have Pluto and Capricorn in the 4th house of home and family. So this 1-2 punch can really mean that for those of you who are married and have had children with this particular partner, but yeah, I suppose it could even be with an ex-partner, but family and spouses are challenging you. And they have been, and they will be. And we have to, like, not worry about the word challenge, because when we're challenged, we expand, we grow. So challenging energy can be very stimulating energy. The so-called easy or beneficial energy of the trines and the sextiles can be very pleasant, but they can be rather, what shall I call them? They can increase complacency, because if particularly, I think, like the trine is something that you don't have to work at, it just kind of comes to you. Well, having something come to you seems like a good idea, but it can make you less, I don't know how to put it, appreciative of whatever it is that comes to you. Because when things come very easily, sometimes people discount them. And, it can make you neglect to even keep it up, because you may just assume it's always going to be there. Whereas if something seems elusive, you may work harder to get it and to keep it. So with that transformative Pluto in the 4th house of home and family, until 2023, by the way, or 2024 actually, this is, really making you think about the idea of home and family and how you interact with it. And there may be things that come up that are beyond your control, that even, because it could be the family of origin, that, you have to kind of, it's almost like a dismantling. So maybe for some people, it's actually having this fantasy version of what their childhoods were like. Maybe your childhood was not as rosy as you're acting like it was. And you need to realize that in order to heal. Maybe you're in denial of some sort. And you will be faced with a brutal reality that, you can no longer run away from. But that is a cleansing thing, because Pluto is regenerative. With that being coupled with the Uranus in the 7th house, and being the fact that it's in Aries, which is already a very lively, it's a combustible combination. For people that have been in a marriage, especially if it's a long-term marriage, you may find that one or both of you is just really wanting out or wanting an extreme alteration of the relationship. Uranus in the 7th house can indicate open marriages. Okay, and if you're not game for that, then there may be a conflict. Another possibility is that you may have a partner who wants to have more freedom in other ways. Maybe they want to live in another place that you don't want to live in, and so you have to agree to have a part-time relationship, or, where you meet half of the time. Or maybe they want to get their own place. I mean, Uranus can be very oddball and very nonconformist. So it can create upheaval in the marriage or the domestic partnership arena, because you may have had things set in a certain way or settled down in a certain way, and then all of a sudden there are all kinds of twists and turns. And this is an energy that is lasting until 2019. So in a way I can say this too shall pass, because it's close enough, it's only a couple of years from now, to endure. But that Pluto will be in the 4th house for longer than that. And with Pluto in the 4th house, and it forming a square with the 7th house that way, there can be clashes between your home life. And even, it could even involve your family taking it, having issues with your partner too, your family of origin. So what does this mean for you? Well, given that Uranus is in the house that you naturally rule, this may be kind of unsettling for Librans because you are all about your partner. And you may feel like you don't know where this person is coming from anymore. You may feel like they are acting very erratically, that they are not committed to you in some way, that they're kind of like going back on the deal. Or this could be affecting you too. This could be affecting either one of you or both of you. And you may be changing your ideas of what you want in a committed partner. You may be craving more freedom. Now, other triggers to this house in 2017 will be that you have a new moon in Libra on the 19th of October, so there could be new beginnings. There is going to be a full moon in this house, and this will be in April on the 11th in Libra. So that could be a critical time for troubled relationships because it could signal that that's when you split up. Of course, there's always the possibility that your love grows deeper too. The full moon is not just endings. The full moon is fruition. Fruition can be culmination of something that you've been working towards. So, for instance, if you have had trouble in your relationship and you are working on the relationship in whatever way you choose to do so, April could be the time when you, like let's say you were separated, you move in back together or you do something else. It's not that your relationship is somehow necessarily different. It's just that it's becoming more of what it was. And the full moon brings a lot of fullness, so that can be something better. And so I just wanted to let you know about that. So I feel like, relationship issues, whether it be family or your significant other, could be very important to you in 2017. You have Mars in your sign from the October 23rd until the 9th of December. So that can be a time when some of you are very uncharacteristically aggressive. Libra is known as being very, very charming and diplomatic. But if you get a bee in your bonnet, you could be very aggressive and warlike, and depending on what else is happening in your life, that can be very surprising to some people. Now, one of the things that could be happening is that you could be promoting yourself aggressively. So if you have, for instance, any kind of, personal business, that might be something that where you're selling yourself to other people, and that may be kind of indicating that. And, it's very interesting that it's during that time frame because you're also going to have Jupiter go into your second house. So that could be a direct link to your professional aspirations. Now, your ruler, Venus, is retrograding in Aries. See, that's another hit to that 7th house on the 4th of March. And it will actually dip back into, one of the later degrees of Pisces before it goes direct on April 15th. So during that, I would say 5-ish weeks, as it turns retrograde, it's going to be rethinking something with that partner. And so, as I say, you do have a full moon on the 11th of April. So that might be a time, when you're rethinking things that you go, okay, that's it, I'm done. Some of you might say that, but something, I really don't like to say anything negative because I don't want to, plant negative seeds, with people. But on the other hand, we don't have to look at things as positive or negative. Actually, it's all good, right? If you decide to end something with a partner, it's because you're not getting along, okay? So don't try to hold on to things that aren't working. If it's not working, it's not working. It's all good. And you'll actually feel better off. Now, maybe not the first day, but eventually. Now, it really, it's funny. It doesn't mean that, when Jupiter or when Venus goes retrograde, that it's automatically that you're going to decide not to be with that person. It's all about review. And I think, one of the themes of 2017 for you is your significant other and what sort of relationship you have. All of your close relationships, like your family relationships as well. What is good, what needs to be gotten rid of, and less emphasized. If you're having problems with family members, just remember that it's your choice to deal with this person or that person. And I mean, obviously this is just my opinion, and I'm not the end-all be-all sage of the planet, but in my humble opinion, or not so humble opinion, I just feel like we have a certain amount of time here, and we have a certain amount of time, we have a certain amount of energy, and life is too short to be dealing with people who do not honor us. And this could be a close family member, and this could be a spouse. This could be a platonic friend too. But when people feel a sense of obligation towards a family member, for instance, because, I have to be with this person. Well, that's definitely your choice. But you have to be able to live with that decision in the sense that if it's really bothering you, it's going to affect you in other ways. And it never ceases to amaze me when people feel obligated in one area, and then it puts them in a bad mood, and they torment their closest loved ones because they can't say no to something that's a bad influence in another area of their lives. And I wouldn't be surprised if Libra is one of the top offenders in this category, because you do tend to have difficulty saying no. You want to be nice. You want people to like you. And so you may tolerate other people's bad behavior to your own detriment. So maybe in 2017, you need to look at these relationships very, very carefully, not as, you're so impartial, but in this case, don't be impartial about it, because you need to look at the situation for how it benefits you, not just how it benefits the other person, but how does it benefit you? And if it's actually creating negative energy, then you can ask yourself, well, if I am in a bad mood half of the time, how am I good for other people? How am I good for my children? How am I good for my spouse? And it's funny when you frame it that way, how soon you realize that your feeling good is everything in your life. And that if you always chicken with yourself and say, am I enjoying myself in this particular situation with this particular relationship, you will see very clearly who is meant to stay and who's meant to go. Now, your ruler, Venus, will be in your sign from the 15th of October until 7th of November. So this is something, again, with that coupling of Jupiter going into your second house of earned income, it can be very helpful. Venus goes into that second house from the 8th of November until the 1st of December. And so that can actually increase your finances, because Venus is the ruler of the second house, and wherever she goes, she can bring money with her. So it looks like, your money is really good in 2017, Libra. And also, I think you have a great opportunity to really make a good impression on others. I think the only challenging area are your personal relationships. And really, they're not challenging if you can just engage them and not run away from the challenges that they present. I think you will do very well for yourself overall in 2017. And so I hope you enjoyed this, Libra, and I wish you all the best in the coming year. Bye.